Hi, this is David Boje, and I've been teaching business story conversations for 40 years and doing consulting and editing organizational change journals and writing 30 books and 150 articles. So I got something to say about business story conversations. Together with my wife, Grace Ann Rosile, also retired professor and PhD, we focus on business story conversations because they improve the bottom line of the business. We teach something called invitational rhetoric, and our approach is best understood as what the Maori, indigenous people of New Zealand, call braided river, braiding together the strands of conversations in business. Now, the main sense-making currency of a business is the story. And the main activity of business communication is conversations. So here's the simple point. When you have better story conversations in a business, you improve the bottom line. And when you have weak conversations or unskilled conversations or belligerent conversations in an organization, it affects customer service, it affects sales, it affects investors, it affects the reputation of your business. So we offer an approach to understanding business storytelling conversation. We have our principles that are involved, but today I want to talk to you about something called invitational rhetoric. Invitational rhetoric is quite important because it's an invitation for a business story conversation, and it's active listening to what we call counter stories. Now, why would you want to hear a counter story about your business? Because you need to understand what's happening in your business. Look at what's happened to Macy's department stores just yesterday. $140 million was hidden away as a cost, and some employee tried to hide it. Instead of fessing up to what was going on, now we've got a big debacle, a big scandal. IRS is involved. Everybody that's reported on business news is talking about this. So invitational rhetoric could have solved this at the get-go because it's about equality, immanent value, and self-determination in business story conversations. And to have the confidence to bring an error like this to the attention of the powers that be, to have safety, value, and freedom to make these counter stories available to decision makers could have really changed the day for Macy's department stores. Now, most traditional rhetoric theories reflect what's called a very abusive kind of rhetoric. It's called accusatory rhetoric. It means trying to dominate others. And instead of invitational rhetoric based on equality, immanent value, and self-determination, this notion of accusatory rhetoric is very prominent in business and has been so since Aristotle. So that's a long time ago, over 2 millennia. Accusatory rhetoric is not only aggressive, but it's a kind of communication in business of blaming, shaming, accusing, judging, and it just shuts down any authentic and genuine communication. You hear comments in a business like, how could you do that? You knew it would hurt the sales. You're clearly not taking this job seriously, and that's why things are going wrong in your department. This report makes it clear that your actions are directly responsible for the failure of Macy's department store's reputation. Now, invitational rhetoric, is assertive because it's offering perspectives without trying to persuade others that you're right and everyone else is wrong. This is the persuasion game that passes for storytelling seminars. Invitational rhetoric creates conditions for co-sharing of these more difficult stories, these mistakes, these problems, these challenges. And they are exactly what needs to happen in business story conversations. As I said, conversations is what businesses do. That's what people are doing most of the day. And sharing effective stories in those conversations is the currency of sense making. It's not about laying out a bunch of facts. Yeah, that's important. But the stuff that's remembered is the story. That's the sense making currency. Listening and trying to hear another person's counter story. Invitational rhetoric, invented by Foss and Griffin in 1992. Yes, it's a feminist perspective. And yes, that's important in business because, we got cultures of fear out there right now, and people are scared to report the errors, and they'll hide a $140+ million mistake, and the whole thing will blow up into a scandal and a reputational disaster for a business. And yes, I'm a critic of the patriarchal system, the command and control system of domination, because I think there's a better way. We need to have some command and control, can't get away from it. It's quick action, decisive. It's error correcting when the errors get reported in the counter stories. But we add to that kind of an open systems approach to entrepreneurship, creating spaces for that as a second system in an organization, a business. And a third system is we look at the socioeconomic performance of business story conversations. Because if that communication is effective, you got effective coordination, you've got collaboration, you've got an effective leadership potential, and we bring all these three systems, the command and control, the open systems of entrepreneuring, and the socioeconomic approach we learned from Henry Saval in France. Thank you, Henry, and thank you, Amandine and Marc Bonnet and Veronique Sardet. Anyway, 20 years it took us to learn all this stuff. And we bring it to you in the notion of the ways to present business story conversations as an intervention to build a better corporation, a better business. So thank you for listening, and I hope this has been informative. And you can find out more about our seminars, about our annual conference, which is happening in December each year in New Mexico. Our seminars are online on Zoom, unless you want to fly us in, and we'll do them in person. CSIstory.com has all the information about seminars and how to get a hold of us for giving keynotes and all the rest of it. So this is David Boje. I hope this has been an informative podcast for you. Thank you.